This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, so today we begin our SAC planning course. So the SAC Integrated Financial Planning. The primary goal of this course, so it enables you to, it empowers you to implement SAC planning projects. So when you implement SAC planning projects, you have to use SAP delivered content. SAP delivers some standard content, best practice content. So using that best practice content, how can you deliver SAC integrated financial planning projects? Even the same concepts you can use any SAC planning implementations. The course name basically SAC integrated financial planning. Also you can call it as S4 HANA financial planning. So this course also basically, I mean, not only integrated financial planning, it also this particular course equip you S4 HANA financial planning also. So the S4 HANA financial planning, which is having a good market now. After completing this program, you can implement S4 HANA financial planning or integrated financial planning. Both are same. So once you complete this course, this is the architecture overview what you are going to implement, right? So financial planning in S4 HANA. In S4 HANA. So today we will go through entire course content. I'm just giving the architecture overview so that you can understand overall picture. So once we complete this slide, and we will understand the course content, whatever required to implement this particular scenario. In S4 HANA, so this box is S4 HANA. In S4 HANA, we use ACDOC table to store financial planning data. So this is the main table for planning. This is the single source of truth for plan data, and whatever predecessor or successor, whatever process, right, stores in this act planning element, stores in this ACDOC table. We in S4 HANA, whatever operational expenses planning, product cost planning, sales and profitability planning, financial statement planning, right? So those, for those planning scenarios, so this ACDOC filled with these plans, whatever I said. So the planning happens here in the SAP Analytics Cloud. Which planning? Operational expenses planning, product cost planning, sales and profitability planning, and capex planning, financial statement planning. The planning happens here, then you can export that planning data to ACDOC table using some delivered OData APIs. So there are several several Fiori apps available here in S4HANA. Several Fiori apps available. So some apps to import the financial plan data. So maybe you might have some other places, some other tools you are using to plan the data, financial data. So you can import financial plan data app. There is one more app, and there is another app to, if you don't want to sum up some of the plan data, so you can delete financial plan data app, and you can copy from one version to another version. So those options also available. So whatever ACDOC plan data is there, so that can be used in the production orders, embedded analytics, and CDS based extractions. These are the final output. These areas use the final output. Now, what is the point here? So the planning happens here in the SAP Analytics Cloud, and the same plan data exported to ACDOC table and other required tables, and that data is used for the SAP S4 HANA financial planning reports, and any planned orders you want to create, you can create. Even from SAC planning, You can get the activity cost rates, statistical key figures. You can export to S4HANA. So that's why it's called as S4HANA financial planning. So now SAP Integrated Financial Planning. In this particular course, I'm going to cover this particular content, whatever you see in this slide. So first one is operational expenses planning. In the operational expenses planning, we manage the costs for different areas in our company. Cost center planning, right? So this cost center planning very important for product cost planning. So product cost planning, this cost center planning is important because in the cost center planning we calculate the activity cost rates. Whatever activity cost rates we derive in operational expenses, those are used in the product cost planning. So activities like machine hours, personal hours, assembling, and also here you can perform project expenses planning. Project expenses planning associated with a project or a program. So here we use work breakdown structure. So this work breakdown structure basically used to capture the project activities. So in the WBS elements, we describe the task to be completed for this project expenses. So this is one area, operational expenses. Then in the integrated financial planning, one more part, which is product cost planning. We calculate the cost of our products here. To calculate the cost of our products, we need raw material prices, which is planned here in this product cost planning. Also, whatever activity cost required, right? Based on the activity prices in the operational expenses, we can calculate that product cost. Then we have sales and profitability planning. We calculate revenues, deductions, quantities, right? So we calculate revenue, deductions, whatever we need based on the sales quantity. Sales quantity multiplied by the sales prices, then deductions will deduct. So here all, if you see in this product cost, all the product related cost. So in the product cost, whatever you do, so whatever product related cost originate from the product planned here, right? Whatever cost not relevant or independent of that product. So product independent cost, product cost independent, I mean product cost relevant. So whatever some costs are there, those are not relevant to the products. Independent product independent cost we call it as. Those are planned in the operational expenses planning. So all these expenses, this I mean based on the product cost planning, you can calculate the cost of goods sold. Product cost planning multiplied by the sales quantity gives you a cost of goods. Sales revenue is here. Operational expenses are moved from operational expenses model to this profitability. Depreciation is moved to operational expenses. From operational expenses it moved to profitability. Then you can calculate the gross profit. So the sales revenue, deductions, cost of goods sold, you can transfer from profitability planning to P&L statement. You have capital expenditure planning. There is another area. So we plan here like assets, acquiring, maintaining, improving our fixed assets, buildings, vehicles, equipment, right? And on top of that, depreciation we calculate here. So all these planning areas or sub plans are connected to my financial statement planning. We do profit and loss planning here, trading partner allocation here, balance sheet planning, cash flow planning. So all are integrated tightly. That's why it's called integrated financial planning. Now, if you observe here, there are some integrations available in this slide. Let's say commercial planning. So the commercial planning, if you see, it's connected to the sales revenue. And you can see here workforce planning, operational workforce planning. You can see this in the SAP Analytics Cloud. It is saying it's an add-on on top of this integrated financial planning. So from this workforce planning, whatever resources we plan, whatever personal expenses we plan, these expenses can be transferred to this particular cost center expenses. Kindly mute. I will give you time to ask the questions. So from in the whatever in the workforce planning, whatever personal expenses, whatever resources we plan, we can transfer to this cost center expenses. Now you have another see you some integration with some other components. Let's say commercial planning, commercial product, consumer products planning. So integration with consumer products. So it is with S4 HANA, it's integrated. Actually, this consumer products is part of S4 HANA. It is integrated, tightly integrated. This CP planning is tightly integrated with S4 HANA. It allows you to plan product sales quantities. You can plan the sales quantities here. These quantities can then transfer to the sales quantity planning. So different options available for this. And also you have integration with commercial planning. So this is also integrated with S4 HANA, tightly integrated with S4 HANA, but the front end they are using Analytics Cloud. So the net and sales quantity both you can transfer here. Then you have IBP, integrated business planning. So it is tightly integrated with SAC. This IBP is a separate product, you know. So you can perform this IBP with S4 HANA also. So it allows you to copy the demand plan from IBP. You can copy the demand plan to sales quantity. And so based on the sales quantity, here you are performing the profitability calculation. And after calculating everything again, you can pass that data to IBP for the review. Right? So this is financial planning and integration with this in this area. Now, what is the course content I'm going to cover? Let's understand what content I'm going to cover. So as I said here, we are going to understand SAC planning capabilities. To understand SAC planning capabilities, first we will understand how the projects are implemented in SAC planning, features of SAC. Then in this SAC planning, to design your models, you need dimensions. So operational expenses planning, when we talk about, we need cost center dimension, company code dimension, WBS element dimension, activity type dimension. So we are going to design the dimensions. We are going to create some dimensions. We are going to understand how these dimensions are maintained with members. Hierarchies are added to this dimension. Dimensions basically holds the master data. How the hierarchies are added, how you can maintain multiple hierarchies in particular dimension, how to add properties to this particular dimension. We will understand. And it's an hands-on session. So you and me are going to create these dimensions in the system. Whatever you are also going to execute in the system. Then whatever dimensions we created, let's say I created one account dimension, I created one store dimension, I created entity type dimension. So using these created dimensions, we are going to create planning models. So when we are creating the planning models, we will understand what are the mandatory dimensions of each version, how many hierarchies we can maintain for the date version, year month hierarchy, year quarter month hierarchy. Those things we will understand. We will add whatever dimensions we created, like account dimensions, store dimensions, to these planning models. There are types of dimensions like public dimensions and private dimensions. At model level, you can add the private dimensions. We will understand how to add the private dimensions. and we will import data from actual data we will import, forecast data import we will import to these planning models. Here we are going to use sample data from the flat files. Now you might be having a question, okay, you are loading data from the flat file. I want to understand how the data loaded from the S4HANA using CDS views, how transaction data loaded to S4HANA to SAC. So the data connections, like let's say how the data source data is loaded, only S4HANA, how S4HANA data is loaded to SAC. I recorded those sessions, those configuration steps. So those recorded one, I will share it with you. So looking at that recorded sessions, you can easily execute in your projects, the same scenarios. Now we are going to understand core planning functionality. So once the planning model is ready, we are going to understand the core planning functionality. When I say core planning functionality, distribution, allocations, distribution, disaggregation, top-down distribution. So these concepts in the planning. So in the for the planning, disaggregation feature, distribution feature, allocation features, top-down planning, how we are going to perform. These are important topics for forecasting. We are going to understand. We are going to execute in the system. We are going to execute currency translation. How the local currencies are converted using in the model currency or whatever the currency you want. There are different options. You can create conversions at model level. You can create conversions based on the measure. You can create conversions in the story. We are going to understand how to create all those currency conversions. Then we are going to understand predictive techniques. We can create rolling forecast templates. So earlier, if you use BPC or BAIP, it's it's you have to add restricted key figures and you have to manage with you are going. I mean, there are no standard templates. You have to create. So left side actual, right side plan or whatever version you want. Here, SAP delivered this forecast templates. So you need to just give what I mean on what basis on what version you want to look back, on what version you want to look ahead. If you provide how many months you want to look back, how many months you want to look ahead. If you give those details, system automatically generates a rolling forecast or forecast layout for you. So we will create predictive forecast. So we have some time series forecast. Predictive scenarios. We are going to use time series predictive scenario. We will execute that. We will create a rolling forecast. We will create forecast based on the value driver tree. So value driver tree is kind of driver based planning. You plan your drivers. System automatically calculate above calculations on top of using those drivers, whatever calculations. So for example, net income. To calculate the net income, you need revenue and discount. To calculate the revenue, you need quantity and price. You plan the quantity based on the indexes, market indexes, or whatever. You plan the price based on the price indexes. So you just enter price index and quantity index, whatever you want. Based on that, system will calculate the quantity, then it calculates the gross revenue, then it calculates the net revenue. So automatically you can see this calculation in the value driver tree. It's a graph. Okay. Now, data actions. In any planning solution, we need to execute some calculations. For example, you plan your sales quantity or sales quantity available against consumer or against customer and product. Prices are available against the product. Now you need to multiply this customer level, product level quantity with product level prices. So you can use data actions. The revenue, whatever is generating, I want to generate against the customer. So I can use the data action because the data cuts are different. I can have advanced formulas. I have allocations. I have currency translation as a data action. I have to copy data from one model to another model. We have data action. I want to copy actual data as planned data. So I have a data action. So we will we will understand all the data actions. We will execute all the data actions in the system, including allocations. Then we are going to understand any planning tool, collaboration and process control important. How to validate. So for example, we need validation rules. For example, if I plan against the cost center, system should automatically derive the company code and profit center. We are going to understand the validation rules. We are going to understand the data locking. So in BPC, we used to call it as work status. Here we call it as data locking. So once the data is planning is completed, we need to lock the data for changes. So the data locking we are going to understand. We are going to understand processes. Processes are called as, I mean, in BPC it was business process business processes, BPF, business process flow. So here we call it as processes, process control. So you can enable workflow also in these processes. Performer can input data, approver can check the data, and he can reject or approve data. So we are going to create processes. We are going to integrate data locking with these processes, and we are going to understand some of the collaboration features. So once you understand these functionalities, you will understand how to configure a planning product, right? In SAC, how to enable planning. Then we will activate the business content, financial planning business content, as I said, and we will understand how to adopt this particular business content according to your requirements. So our main aim is, once you complete this particular course, you should be implementing SAC planning projects using delivered content. So here I have taken the example as integrated financial planning. So you can also, for example, SAP also delivered something called group financial planning content. So it is based on ACDoc A, ACDoc Q table in S4HANA. Right? So group reporting, plan data consolidation, and illegal actual consolidation data. We call it as group financial planning content. So the same process you can follow to execute this group financial planning content based on the group reporting data. And also you have workforce planning content based on the success factors. You have industry specific content, oil and gas industry specific content, utility specific content. So you can activate and follow the same process. But I am, because we have limited hours, I'm working on integrated financial planning content. As part of this content, we will understand all the planning scenarios: capex, opex, financial statement, sales and profitability, and product cost. And also we will understand how the data can be updated. Master data is updated for the S4 HANA from SAP's, I mean, from the customer S4 HANA, how you update the master data and transaction data. And if you want to, I mean, adapt, what are the possibilities you have to adapt this particular content. Yeah. So this is overall course content. So the total course is planned for 30 hours. It might take more than 30 hours. Weekend sessions, and we connect only on Saturday and Sunday. And then the session time, same time, like 9 p.m. we connect India time, and 2 hours we Saturday 2 hours, Sunday 2 hours we'll complete. I will share all configuration steps, whatever I can. For example, in the session, you are going to configure the system, right? So you created a dimension. So when you are creating the dimension, you don't note down the steps, right? So you are concentrating on the creation and how the dimension can be used in other entities. So I'm going to give you configuration steps. So again, you can repeat all the steps, whatever you performed in the session. Again, you can repeat looking at this configuration steps. PDF documents I give to I mean, if you want to appear like certification and all those things, whatever PDF documents are required. So that planning relevant documents I'm going to give. The course cost, 30,000 INR. We are going to use SAC's trial version for this course. I'm going to share sample master data and transaction data for your practice. You can attend. So because the sessions are not recorded. So first two sessions I record, other sessions I don't record. But I can give you, you might miss some sessions. So I give you an option. So you can attend a maximum of 2 times within 6 months. So every 2 months I start this course. So you can attend 2 times within 6 months, not a problem. And if you want to attend third time, so for example, you want to understand the updates and whatever new things happen, if you want to attend third time, so subsequent attendances will incur a fee of 6,000. So third time onwards, you have to pay 6,000. So this is overall idea. So this is specific, right, to implement SAP planning projects. And it is financial planning. It's so as I said, like financial planning. So whatever data we plan, we move that data to ACDOC table for financial planning. Yeah. Now it's open. You can ask any questions if you have any questions.
Kiran, what is the background that is required to complete this course?
See, see, if you have FI background, that's good, right? So first thing is finance. Now
Okay.
you don't have, let's say, that is one thing. And if you have BPC planning experience, that's also good. If you have
Mm,
BIIP experience, that's also good. Now the question, I am a BW consultant. I don't have any planning experience or finance finance knowledge.
background.
Then background. So this course, right? You can use it to develop those skills. I'm going to explain how this planning process happens, each and every planning scenario. So it gives you one project implementation experience. So based on that, you can you can spend some time and you can enhance your skills. So you can get into planning projects.
Uh, Kiran,
Kiran,
Yep.
yeah,
why you're not providing record version? Like for me, it's like one you watch the session, and if I'm not able to remind thing, I can just go through the recording and check where I'm lacking. Why you're not providing recording session?
So this is my policy. I don't record the sessions. So other than recordings, any other questions?
Yes, one
Kiran,
more question. What is the payment like? You are going to have payment like how you need like half of or
Uh, you
at
can
once?
pay in 2 installments, not an issue.
Post. Okay.
uh,
Okay.
Yeah.
Kiran, question
Yeah.
here. So financial
Yeah.
group, I mean financial planning, I mean group planning. So that feature is available in group reporting, or it need to be accommodated here in SAC one.
So you are asking group financial planning.
Yes,
The feature is available in S4 HANA or it's available in
SAC.
SSE,
Mm.
right? So plan data consolidation when you want to perform, right? So
Mm.
the individual planning, operational planning happens in SSE, then it moves to ACDOC A. From the ACDOC A, ACDOC P. From the ACDOC P, you release to group reporting table, ACDOC U table. There you are going to perform in S4 HANA only. You are going to perform plan data consolidation. Now,
Okay.
some entities not available in S4 HANA, correct? Those are
Mm.
part of non-SAP. For that, you can use SSE to plan the operational level plan data. Then directly you can move the data to XW table.
Okay. Initial planning, which for which entities which are not part of S4 HANA, those planning will be accommodated in SAC. That planning data
Exactly.
will be
Mm.
moved to ACDOC P
XW,
U. From
XW, not
SAC to U directly.
you directly. See, if you want to move data to XDoc P or XDoc P,
Mm.
the master data the company code should be available in S4. Otherwise, you can't move.
Okay, okay, got it, got it. So that means we are having flexibility to completely create and do the planning here, and that
Mm.
same data will be moved to group reporting. There, the group planning functionalities will be performed in group reporting. like
Exactly.
consolidation.
Correct. Consult.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Kiran.
Yeah. So I'm
Hi,
I'm
sir.
stopping
This
the
is Nitik.
recording.
I
Yeah,
have one
yeah. Go ahead.
question.
Yeah.
Sir, after this course, I would like to go for certification. Could you please help us with certification dumps by any chance?
I'm stopping the recording.